Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today we're talking about Knob Creek. We're gonna blind all the six I have anyways, of like the basic lineup. The 9, we got the 9, the 12, the 15, the 18, the new 21 year. That's why we're doing this. And I even threw the Bourbon X Rye that came out last year just to make it an even 6. So before we do that, let's do a giveaway. Okay, so this is for the Sagamore video. So should be 2 ounces of those 4 different bottles in there. See who wins. And Eric Stat 547. Email in description. I am planning on catching up with samples tonight. So if you haven't got your samples recently, I plan on getting those out today. Also, this week is the Riley's fundraiser, so make sure you get your tickets. I'm not putting on their shirt today, but make sure you get your tickets because this is the last week. The live stream that they're gonna do. Oh my God, is this thing even on? The mic's on now. God, you think I'd be getting better at this? Anyways, get your tickets for Riley's. The live stream is this Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Every ticket's the tickets are $5. All the money goes to Riley's Children's Hospital. If you want to win those crazy bottles. Also, Bourbon and Ballz is doing a live stream Thursday night, the 30th. And they're going to have SLB on there and other people. And that's a whole different raffle that you can participate in and get different bottles. And all of that money goes to SLB's charity drive for Riley's Children's Hospital. So go participate in both and hopefully you win in both. Good luck, guys. All right, so before I get into it, I will say on fresh crack on the Knob Creek 21, I did not like it. I opened it up the day I got it, tried it with my wife, and we both did not like it like at all, really. And I was like, crap, am I gonna be the person that's gonna be against everything? Because every single review I've seen about the Knob Creek 21 is that it's really, really good. Now, I had it in my Whiskey Cigar Club literally the day after the fresh crack, and it opened up in one day a lot better. So I'm saying this because if you get the Knob Creek in 21 and the first sip isn't that good, let it get some air for sure, because at least that was my experience. Now, it's in here somewhere. It's been like a week since I've opened it. So plus, I already have Whiskey Cigar Club, so it's got a good amount of air. So it's way past the shoulder. Okay, these are all 100 proof except for the Bourbon X Rye, that's 113. Let's get into the nose. Okay, I like the nose on A. Oak, cherry, peanut butter, sweet, dusty peanut. I'm expecting to get a decent amount of oak on these 6 because a lot of these are older ages and a lot of peanut notes. So we shall see if any of them are that far different. I'm expecting the Bourbon Rye to be a little bit more different, but a B on the nose was more cherry, more vanilla, oak again, but the peanut note was more not like the peanut buttery or the dusty peanut. It was more like a wet peanut, which is my least favorite peanut note, I guess. I can get that on the palate a lot, especially on the finishes. All right, so let's get to C. Okay, so C kind of reminded me of A with the oak, peanut butter, chocolate, the dusty peanut. Darker fruit though. And so when I went back to A to kind of compare them back to back, I got more cinnamon on A. D on the nose. Okay, so I kind of went back and forth between D, C, and A. Because again, outlier so far has been B, not too far. So D on the nose is oak, vanilla. It's richer than A and C. Peanut butter, dusty peanut. At first I wrote slight nuttiness because I wasn't getting a lot of nuttiness. I was getting a lot of oak and vanilla. But then it started getting more peanut butter and the dusty peanut note. It seems a little bit more in your face than the other ones. Okay, let's go to E. E is not my favorite nose. It was much darker fruit direction, jammy, which that was pretty decent. Jammy dark fruit, a little bit of peanut, but there was a lot of graininess, which none of these are young. Even the Bourbon Rye is 7 and 9 years. So let's get to F. Oh wow, F is way different. So F on the nose, slight banana. That's kind of like, like getting to it, it was way different because I was like, I got a little bit of banana note right away. A little bit of peanut and earthiness. Definitely different. Basically, the ones that are the closest to me were A, C, and D. Let's get into the palates. Man, going back to the nose on A, it's changed a lot, but I can't figure out how. Very helpful, I know. Almost, you know what it is? Red apple. All right, let's get in the palate. Okay, first sip of the day. Didn't get too much. I got peanut, green apple. It did feel very viscous. On the finish, apples, nutty. I think I know I said thick, but it's like thin at the same time. I know that makes no sense. It's hard to explain that, but first sip, so let's try it again. All right, pretty good. Not anything crazy though. I'm hoping this is one of the 3 lower priced ones. So I got some red fruit, oak sweetness on the palate this time, and peanut butter on toast on the finish. The finish wasn't the longest, but one more sip. Overall, pretty good though. It's just the finish wasn't, I don't know, kind of let down the palate. Every sip got better, man. Holy moly. Okay, so I put dark fruit on the palate, or yeah, on the palate. The palate itself seems to be uniquely complex, a decent amount. On the finish, it became like a candy bar, like a chocolate candy bar. And I've been doing a lot of research for Friday's video, because Friday's video, I'm doing a like Halloween candy thing. It's not a pairing. I'm basically, and I know Knob Creek's on the list, so this, I understand why. So I'm basically have like a candy bar, like Reese's, and then I'll have like a couple bottles that I can get chocolate and peanut butter off of. Like, you know, drink this if you want a Reese's flavor, you know, stuff like that. So I have a whole list of candy bars. I'm going through all my list to kind of see like, okay, I've said, no, you guys know I say Jolly Rancher a lot, so I have a lot of Jolly Rancher bottles. But like certain ones, Tootsie Roll, you know, I'm trying to see like, okay, what tastes like a Tootsie Roll? And so that's gonna be Friday's video for Halloween. But yeah, Knob Creek is definitely up there for candy bars. They all have the peanut note, so if you get the chocolate note, that's, you know, half the chocolate bars out there are peanuts and chocolate. So anyways, let's get to B. All right, so I did the first 2 sips. It's the morning time. The trash can people are picking up the trash cans, so it was pretty loud. So I don't know if I was gonna catch up with the mic or not. Anyway, so between the first 2 sips, red fruit, potpourri floral, oak, peanut, and the potpourri floral note was more on the first sip than the second sip, but it was very distinct. And on the finish, peanut butter, oak, vanilla, red fruit. It's okay. I think I like A better, but I got one more sip. The finish after the first sip was actually kind of like the finish on the first sip of A, where it wasn't that impressive, but it kind of got a little bit better. Okay, overall not too bad, not too good. I don't know. So on the palate, I got some slight bitterness on the back of the tongue. On the finish, some marshmallow. It's okay. Let's go to C. Well, that was the best first sip out of the first 3. Red Jolly Rancher, nutty, dark fruit, oak on the palate. Oak, chocolate, peanut M&Ms. I got the candies in my head. I was doing this all last night. And vanilla. Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, second sip. No new notes. It's not that complex like maybe A was, but it's pretty good. One more sip. Man, I really like that finish though. Some red fruit too. Okay, so C, the palate is okay. The finish is really strong. All right, let's get into D. Well, D's freaking good, guys. Wow. Okay, I gotta think I know what this is right off the get-go. This is just the most rich oak and vanilla. Vanilla, oak, and so I wrote intense note, and it was like cherry wood. It was flavors of cherry and flavors of wood, so I put them together. I did write dark cherry though, because there was a good amount of dark cherry and some wood note, oak, vanilla, but really rich, really good. This reminds me a lot of the Calumet 18. On the finish, we have dark cherry again, vanilla, oak, rich. So a lot of the same flavors. And I remember, now, I could be completely wrong on what bottle this is. This could be the Knob Creek 18. I don't know. But if this is the 21, which I'm assuming off the first sip, just by the flavor profile, this reminds me a lot of the Calumet 18. And what I was going to do originally for this video was kind of compare those two and a couple other bottles. Because I figure a lot of people are probably going to compare the Knob Creek 21 versus the other Knob Creek, like 18 and 15. I could still do that, you know, we'll see. I kind of wanted to see how it compared versus its own lineup and if it was really that much better, which if D is 21, awesome. Now, if D is something else, well, then you got something really good for a lot cheaper. So let's go to second sip. That's freaking good. Holy cow. The only new note I wrote with Red Jolly Rancher on palate and finish, because now the cherry notes became brighter, sweeter. Red Jolly Rancher. The one thing that D doesn't have, the other ones have, is the peanut note. I would never pick this out as like a Knob Creek product or a Jim Beam product, because it's not nutty to me. On the linger, on the very end linger, it's kind of like a wet peanut note. I'm also like talking, so who knows. That's really good. I got one more sip. I didn't want to write it, but I wrote it. Chocolate chip cookie on the finish. I wanted to write that originally, but I was like, I'll just write chocolate. But the cookie part was there too. D is freaking good. Man, is it good. And it's the thing where it's not overly complex. It's not a bunch of notes attacking you, but the notes that are there are really good. Let's go to E. Poor E. E had the misfortune of following D, and the notes weren't that good. They weren't bad, but definitely I think this is something that I need to do a couple sips on, which I always do anyways. But it was grainy immediately, dark fruit, and then black pepper on the finish. So not a lot of notes. Let me give it a second sip. I think I just needed to get off of D. So second sip was better. Vanilla on the palate, chocolate on the finish. Overall pretty good. I like that too. One more sip. That's good. I like that too. So I got a little peanut on the palate. Very drinkable. Nothing wrong with it. Well, I guess the graininess in the beginning. But after the second and third sip, I think it was coming off of... Now, if I am right that D is a 21, now I'm guessing it's a 21. Whatever is in E is younger. And I don't know if that's why it just seems so grainy right away. By the time I got to the third sip of it, it was fine. Definitely something I would drink. Definitely something where when I'm going back and forth, I won't drink it compared to D. Kind of just make sure that, because, you know, if this is, you know, the 15, 12, 18, and it's coming off of maybe a 21-year-old, again, so I'm thinking, I want to compare it to other things. That's the thing with blinds. You know, if you do a one direction, you know, things impact each other. So I don't usually go back this direction. I kind of just A, B, A, B, A, B, give everything a fair shake. But, you know, for this part, I always just go straight through, just put some notes out for you guys. Okay, F. Banana. F continues to be very different than the rest of them. So banana, when I was saying with the whiskey in my mouth, I nosed it right before I sipped it, and I got the banana note again. Anyways, I don't know if that came through. Shouldn't be talking with whiskey in my mouth, but it happens, I guess. Banana, there was some spice. I couldn't tell if it was proof spice or rye spice, which both point me in one direction. Red fruit, peanut, on the finish, vanilla, red fruit, spice again. Maybe on the second sip I can figure out what's going on here. That's good too. It's very unique, especially versus the other ones. And if this is the Bourbon X Rye, maybe I shouldn't have put this in here. At least it was the last one. I got some strawberry notes and grainy notes on the palate and nuttiness on the finish. Overall pretty good. It's just very different than the rest. I'd be shocked if this wasn't the Bourbon X Rye because of how different what it is. One more sip. There's a buttered popcorn note on the finish. Besides that, I got no new notes. Very interesting. I'd like to see. So I liked all of them, I think. Right? Maybe not B so much. I would have to go back and forth a little bit, but these are all pretty good. And I kind of, going into this, I would assume that I liked most of these. You know, I didn't know how the 9-year was going to do against some of these other ones, because, you know, that's something you can get at any bar. And I know a lot of people shit on the 18-year-old. So we'll see how, if I liked it or not. I have liked it in the past, so I'm guessing I scored it pretty good. We shall see. So right now I'll stop it and I'll go back and forth, drink some water, and get some scores. All right, I went through them all. I was basically fighting over second and third place. Again, get your tickets for Riley's. It's in the description. Let's do a giveaway. If you want to win 2-ounce samples of all 6 of these, that's right, all 6 of them, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment with capital letters KC2025. KC 2025. No one should be just writing that randomly. All right, so the results, which I'm gonna guess is kind of went like I would have thought maybe go into this. Maybe not between second and third. Second and third were my biggest fight here. Okay, so in last place was the, okay, oh, before we get into that, this is close, as you can see, right? Because the Knob Creek 18 that I'm using is in a each other small batch bottle. And if you can see, it says, you know, Knob Creek 18-year-old. Someone wanted a Knob Creek 18-year-old, the bottle, like an empty bottle. So I just dumped it for him so he can have the bottle, whatever. So I'm just going to use this for you guys so you can visually actually see the bottle, just so you know. So let's get into it. So in last place, and all of these scored pretty well. So E, which is this one, Knob Creek 9-year-old came in last place, which going to this, I would think that would be where it should land because it's the cheapest bottle up here. But I still scored a 3.15, and that's something, if like I'm at a like crappier bar that doesn't have a lot of whiskey selection and they got Knob Creek 9, I'm most likely probably gonna get the Knob Creek 9 over like maybe a Jack Daniel's 7, no, old 7, and like a Maker's Mark or something like that. Knob Creek would be what I would choose, like a bar with limited whiskey selection. Okay, so then in 5th place is, yep, it's this one. The Bourbon X Rye 113 proof, which is 30% of this is 9-year-old bourbon and 70% is 7-year-old rye. And it's basically a mixture of this bottle and their 7-year-old rye, which I also have. I could have thrown that in here, I guess, but then there would just be too many bottles. I was also debating on putting a store pick, like a Knob Creek store pick, because I have a bunch of those. Kind of with like stuff that's on the shelf everywhere. Now, some of these aren't. I get it. Okay, so I scored that at 3.25. So then we started getting to the older bottles. And in 4th place, the 12-year-old. Now, I scored this a 3.6. And that is really good. This is probably one of the best values in bourbon. It's like $60, $70 in that price range. 12-year-old bourbon. And it's really good for what you're getting. So that's one of those bottles that you should definitely have on your bar top. So then 2nd and 3rd place, this is where I went back and forth a lot, because B going through didn't do, you know, all that well, but when I went back to it, it tasted so much better. B still came in 3rd place, which is actually the 18-year-old. Which I know a lot of people shit on the 18-year-old. They say it's overly oaked. Nothing today, even the 21-year-old, the 18-year-old, to me, it wasn't overly oaked. You know, that one time I had a little bitterness on the back of the tongue, but after drinking some water, I got a lot more peanut buttery notes. And this is something I'm going to be doing soonish. So a company sent me a very expensive ice maker that makes clear spherical ice cubes, ice balls, I guess. Sometimes, like because I always drink water, when I'm going back and forth, I'll drink water before every single one, kind of just have water on my tongue, kind of see like how an ice would kind of like impact the flavor, or if you're dropping water into the glasses. And so I think at the end of some episodes where, like this one, for example, maybe I'll throw that over a block of ice and just kind of see how it tastes over ice. So some people say like if you put high proof over a block of ice, it, you know, makes it lower proof and tastes a little bit better. But I think that same principle can happen to like if something's too oaky or other things that kind of tame down maybe that one part. So we'll see. That's going to be coming in like future episodes where maybe at the end I'll kind of just throw something over a block of ice, kind of see how that would impact it, because they sent me a nice ass ice machine, so I got to use it, right? Okay, so that came in, the 18-year-old came in third place with 3.65. I don't know if I even said this. The 12-year-old scored 3.6. No idea. I'm going on my little tangents. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about anymore. So B was going against C, and definitely not D, for second place. And C got which is the 15-year-old, a 3.75. The 21-year-old, which was in D, which is what I figured when I was going through it, scored a 4.25, which ranks in one of my top bourbons of the year. Now it's not, I didn't score it as a 4.5 like the Kama 18, but I need to review this against some of my favorite bourbons of the year. Now we're getting close to the end of the year. So if you guys were here in the beginning of this channel, which is the beginning of this year, I did a top 25 of 24 tournament. And so I'm going to do the same thing for this year. And it's even better. It's the top 25 of 25, right? Don't steal that, YouTubers. I know you guys copy each other, motherfuckers. So we're at the end of October. We got like 2 months away before that starts happening. So I might do some kind of like tournament, a little bit tournament before that for some of the bottles like at the end of the year. Because I did one in August or something, a couple months ago for the beginning of the year. So we'll see. But I'm telling you right now, this Knob Creek 21-year-old, get it. Now it's $239.99. At least that's what I pay for it in Connecticut. I don't know what secondaries on it. I know Connecticut got a good amount of them, so I'm hoping the distribution is pretty good for this bottle across the country. It is very good. It's one of those bottles where, you know, it's a buy and back up for sure. It really opened up really nicely, and it is pretty good. So I definitely need to compare it to some of my favorites this year, especially the Kama 18. I think this goes well against a head-to-head versus the Kama 18 because they're both not super complex. They're just very rich. I think they would go against, now the Kama 18 is double the price of this. So the Kama 18 better smoke its socks off. Or bourbon off, not sure. So, anyways, get your tickets for Riley's. Get your ticket for Riley's. Get your ticket for Riley's. It's in the description. What are you waiting for? Go in the description. Go to the website. Buy some tickets. Don't do no stupid. And if you do, don't get caught. Bye.